Paul Layim Lala Hayanawa Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Hamashiach Wa Malakia Bahashim Harawat Wakakurash Barakathum, the water Baba Bar Wakwam Yasharala. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone Teachers Daily, to the men out there teaching a likewise doctrine, I say Shalom. Today we're going to get into a couple of videos whereas the people of America, they're confused. And the reason they're confused is because this government's actions versus their words don't match up. Well, it's a simple explanation for that. They're lying to you. The purpose of Donald Trump is to set this country on a path to destroy itself. Now, I know it's a lot of you MAGAs out there that's just find this hard to believe. You don't want to believe this for shit in the world because it means the end of your world. But guess what? It's time for the end of your world. So the elites have got Trump to destroy this country, literally. I know his words and his actions don't line up. They're not supposed to. But you know why? Because lies are not supposed to make sense. But some of you people, regardless of what this orange man does, y'all still think he got your interest in heart. No, he doesn't. His job is to string you along with lies and bullshit till it's time to take the chip. Now, let's get a video, and then we're going to go into some scriptures. Matter of fact, that's how you know it's a lie, when it doesn't make sense. Okay, the name of this video is White House Insiders Admit They Have No Idea What Trump is Doing or Why. And that's easy because Esau uses confusion as a weapon. You throw enough confusion out there, and these people are already dumbed down enough where they ain't going to research nothing, so they're going to take everything you say on face value. So you just keep pumping confusion in the air. I told y'all these people are going to deliberately keep you confused. And under that cloud of confusion, they doing their little shit. That's why nothing they do or say makes sense. Let's go.
Nobody knows what Donald Trump is doing or why he is doing it. In just the last couple days, we have, of course, less than a week, seen him remove the tariffs, but also not actually remove the tariffs, which is why after the stock market rebounded on Wednesday, it then went back to tanking on Thursday because people realized, wait a minute, he didn't actually pause the tariffs. He just temporarily reduced them to 10%. Then he raised tariffs on China to 125%. But then, of course, he exempted cell phones, smartphones, tablets, and computers from his Chinese tariffs. And then he came out over the weekend and said, no, I didn't do that. That's not an exemption. That's not a thing that happened. So we don't know as a general public what the hell he's doing. But more importantly, according to a Politico reporter, nobody in the White House either knows what the hell Donald Trump is doing, and more importantly, why he's doing it. This is from Dasha Burns, the White House bureau chief for Politico. This is what she said during a recent interview with CNN. Remember how much we were reporting at the outset of this administration that chaos is the strategy? That's how he's going about it, what he's doing with Doge. That's how he's going about so many aspects of his agenda. He's doing that with tariffs as well. He wants to keep everyone off balance. He wants people to come to the table and negotiate and wonder, how they're going to do this with the White House. Problem is that uncertainty and chaos is not good for markets, it's not good for consumers, and it's certainly not good for the global economic order and the question of what the end game is. I think a lot of people around Trump are asking themselves the same thing right now. What?
The end game is destruction for America. I got another video after this, and this is going to explain it very clearly what the elite's intention is for this country. Trump is just following orders. He's doing what he's told.
What is he playing at? Why is he doing this? What, in fact, is the end game? Because this man has given us excuse after excuse after excuse for why he's doing things, for example, the tariffs. He said it's because, well, we got the trade deficits. Okay, it's because we need more from them than they need from us. That's why a trade deficit exists. A trade deficit is not inherently a bad thing. It's not like a budget deficit. It just means they have more of what we need than we have of what they need.
Oh yeah, it's bad, all right. You know why? Because this is a nation of consumers. We don't make anything here but trouble for the rest of the world. So it would be nothing for these nations to cut this country off. And they will not, and the United States will not be missed because the dollar is dead. And number two, the other nations will survive off each other's economy. Because guess what? Who did it? Was it Canada? No, China. China just recently came out saying they canceling all beef from America. That's $1 trillion industry right there to feed a country like China alone. They're now getting their beef from Australia. So yeah.
There is nothing wrong with that, and that doesn't hurt the U.S. economy. He said it's because we got to stop the people coming across the border. Okay, well then why'd you put tariffs on Europe? You've actually said you want them over here. Your wife came from over there, so obviously it's not the border thing. We got to stop the drugs. Okay, again, not with all the countries you have tariffs with. Like, they're not sending drugs over here. Well, we got to bring back American manufacturing. Okay, well, you put tariffs on an island with nothing but penguins. What American companies moved to Penguin Island? None. The point is, nobody knows why he's doing this because, and this is what the CNN segment didn't get into, the reason nobody around him in that White House knows what he's doing is because he doesn't know why he's doing it.
He knows why. He just can't tell y'all. He's under orders.
There is no end game when you just do something spur of the moment with no consideration of what the outcome is. There is no possible way for any of these countries to come to the negotiating table and make a deal with this madman who doesn't even know why he did it in the first place.
That's not going to happen because don't nobody want to deal with the headache that the United States brings. The lies, the confusion, the bullshit. Don't nobody want to deal with that. So no, this country's done. And they really showed their asses on the world stage. So no, nobody wants to deal with a bunch of grown-ass lying children.
When he has no clear goals, when he has no objectives, when he just does things for the sake of doing things, there is no negotiating with that. You're dealing with a crazy person who has no idea what he's even doing. So the White House is confused, the public is confused, the markets are confused, they're responding with chaos. Everything is awful because we're being run as a country by a man who has no idea why he does anything. Thanks for watching.
Now, I got another video to explain what Trump is doing. The controlled burn of America.
You think you're watching a crisis, but you're watching them execute a blueprint. The protests, the economic collapse, the instability, none of it is accidental. None of it is unpredictable. The economy's in freefall. Cities are erupting. Markets are breaking. People are protesting in the streets. And still, behind the curtain, they're calm. Because this isn't chaos to them. It's a controlled burn. The Constitution, a relic. Public systems, obsolete. Democracy, a formality. The new systems don't need a middle class. The new markets don't need freedom. The corporate class doesn't need voters. It needs obedience. It needs order. And it needs a new structure to guarantee both. The nostalgic America we once romanticized is over. This isn't collapse. This is extraction. They're not letting America fall. They're bringing it down, deliberately, strategically, on schedule. America has served its purpose. It built the capital. It trained the workers. It fed the machine. The goal was never patriotism. It was never liberty. It was scale. It was access. It was control. They don't want America to lead the world. They don't want anyone to lead, except them, the unelected, the unaccountable, the untouchable. You think this is the end, but to them, this is rollout day.
That's what Trump is doing. For all you people who act like you don't understand a lie, when you hear a lie, especially lies after lies after lies after lies, eventually you're going to have to put two and two together. Say, this man is doing this shit on purpose. Yes, he is. Now, let's get some scriptures. Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Let's go to Job 30, verse 8. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. But they think they're on a level just because they got some extra evil in their spirit. No, the Lord created y'all to be wicked and evil. Just so y'all doing what the wicked and the evil people do. It's just as simple as that. There's nothing to figure out. They're trying to steal back the birthright by putting control over everybody. It's not going to work because they're going to be the first fruits of slavery. These elites, yes, they are. Now let's go to the book of Psalms. This is Psalm chapter 35, verse 26. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at mine hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. And that's exactly what's covered. This whole nation is being covered with a cloud of confusion because they actually think this man is going to make this country great because he said it, but his actions are total opposite. It ain't hard to see. It's just you got people who don't want to see the truth. They rather believe the lie that he gonna make this country great. No, he destroying this bitch in record time. The water Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because we ready to go. Psalm chapter 109, verse 29. Let mine adversaries be clothed with shame, and let them cover themselves with their own confusion, as with a mantle. The more they lie, the more they get confused. And it's going to eventually lead to Egyptian versus Egyptian. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Chapter 24, verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Verse 11, there's a crying for wine in the street. Wine in the case is wisdom. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Mirth is good times. Everybody, ain't nobody having fun no more. Verse 12, in the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 30. Verse 1. And this is talking to you Israelites who trust Donald Trump. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. That's something you shouldn't do. Verse 3, this is why. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. That's why y'all confused, because y'all trust your enemy. And your enemy ain't feeding you nothing but lies. And behind the scenes, he creating destruction for your future. Go to the book of Jeremiah. Chapter 20. Verse 11. But the Lord is with me as my terrible one, as a mighty terrible one. Therefore my persecutors shall stumble, they shall not prevail. They shall be greatly ashamed, for they shall not prosper. Their everlasting confusion shall never be forgotten. Because Israel ain't gonna let y'all forget. This next 1,000 years y'all got in slavery, us being on this planet is a constant reminder that y'all fucked up. And you ain't no lying your way out of this. No, it's not. You're just gonna have to live with regret for 1,000 years. Had y'all did us right, maybe things would have turned out a little bit different for y'all, but you didn't. And you're not gonna treat us any different. You know why? Because your judgment is already written. So it don't matter what you do at this point. Whatever you do is gonna be the Lord's will, and you still gonna be destroyed. So y'all fucked up. James chapter 3, verse 16. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. Verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. That's all this country knows is hypocrisy and lies. So when these Edomites are gone, at least in captivity, it ain't gonna be no more hypocrisy. It ain't gonna be no more lies. It ain't gonna be no more theft. No more murder. None of that shit they do. Ain't gonna be no more of that. So yeah, this world gonna be a better place. This world is gonna rejoice when they go in the chains. All these people know is destruction. Like in the book Isaiah chapter 59, wasting and destruction are in their paths. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departed from the Lord. Woe mean destruction. Cursed mean, yeah, you might as well be destroyed if you about to be cursed. You can ask us. When them curses hit y'all full blown, it ain't gonna be nothing nice. Go to the book of Nahum. Chapter 3. Verse 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. That's a miracle. Verse 5, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. Verse 6, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile and set thee as a gazing stock. That's why all the other nations are backing off. Like, y'all insane over there. It's not the people. It's the Edomites and the Amalekites running America. They're the insane ones. And I say they're insane because they actually think this bullshit gonna work. And the Lord is just gonna stand by and let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. No, those days are over. Go to the book of Psalms, chapter 118. Verse 8, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. Verse 9, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. But y'all don't trust in the Lord, though. Y'all trust Trump lying ass. Y'all trust cheese and rice, non-existing ass. Book of Isaiah, chapter 30. Verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Verse 13, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So that's basically comparing you trusting in your enemies to a wall that's about to be breached, whose breaking suddenly cometh at an instant. You don't know when it's gonna this wall of protection gonna fail. That's you trusting in Esau lying ass. Go to 1 Timothy, see what it do. Oh, that ain't it. Hold on. That ain't it. Let's go with this thing. Book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Yep. Let's go to second Ezra, get a couple more scripts. We can close. This one gonna be a long video. The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. He gonna wax worse and worse with the wickedness because he was not created to be righteous. We told y'all to stop expecting the wicked to be righteous. It's not going to happen. Regardless of how bad you want it to happen, it's not going to happen. Where we at? Sirach. Chapter 10, verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, so are all they that dwell therein. Lying-ass leaders, lying-ass citizens. Cutthroat-ass leaders, cutthroat-ass citizens. Verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Unwise king destroyeth his people. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That's how they got the kingdom, and that's how they're going to lose it. Verse 12, chapter 12, verse 3, Salakia. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. That's why Esau's rulership is not going to last. Chapter 12, verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten by a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? The Bible calls this man a serpent. Just like he got y'all with the jab, with all them smooth, buttery words, stringing y'all along to your deaths. He gonna do the same thing with lies, confusion, and excuses to drag your ass out, to string you along, so it's time to take that chip in your hand. Chapter 13, verse 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. Verse 5, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear and not be sorry for it. Chapter 14, verse 5, he that is evil to himself, to whom shall he be good? He shall not take pleasure in all his goods. Verse 6, there is none worse than he that envieth himself. This is the recompense of his wickedness. Verse 7, and if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. That's why it tells you to never trust thine enemy, because he gonna string you along with empty-ass promises and lies. In case y'all haven't noticed. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. What is that wickedness? Stealing your money, taking everything you got, and forcing you to take a chip in your hand. That's the end game. To put this country on a path to destroy itself, and then they're going to present themselves with the solution. Verse 8, an envious man have a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. Esau hates everybody. He does. It's just in his nature, because he's at the bottom. And he hates being at the bottom. That's why he lies and give you this bullshit called white supremacy. But all the rules are in his favor. If you were so supreme, you wouldn't have to fix the game. You'll dominate on a level playing, but you don't. You losing in your own kingdom. You losing to the people that you put at the bottom, Israelites. So if you losing to us in your own kingdom, how much more you gonna be at the bottom in ours? But this is what he has to do to stay afloat. He has to lie. He has to steal. He has to murder. And then he gonna say white supremacy. Boy, stop. I said, if you were so supreme, you'll be dominating on a level playing. You wouldn't have to fix the rules. So yeah, that's that. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 11. Verse 40. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppressing. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. It didn't say nothing about righteousness up in there. It said wickedness and deceit. It said wicked oppression and deceit. That's all he knows. That's all he's programmed to do. You can't change his program. You don't have administrative rights or privileges. Only Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai can change this man's program, and he's not. So, in other words, Esau is on a one-way path to his own destruction. And he's so stupid, he doesn't realize that the Lord has him on this path of self-destruction. He think he orchestrating it all. You're not that smart, homie. Now let's go back to chapter 8. Verse 50. For many great misery shall be done to them in the latter time, shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Chapter 15, verse 6. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Now it's time for them to go down. And I'm going to get a few more. This is what's about to come to pass when the shit hit the fan. Verse 14, chapter 15. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their ashes shall stand in their own power. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Does that not sound like martial law? Jazz. Verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, their houses shall be destroyed, and their men shall be afraid. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. Spoil mean to rob, because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is what these insane ass people want. And then they just gonna pop up on the scene as the hero. We gonna get the cities back right. We gonna get everything back in order. After you cause chaos on purpose. We'll get a few more. Chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. The only ones that fear the Lord is Israelites. 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Verse 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So that's what's coming down the pipe. Since you people claim you're so confused, you pretending that you can't read the writing on the wall, guess what? You better learn how to read real quick, because you're running out of time. This man is destroying this country in record time, not even 100 days in. Look at all the destruction he has caused. There is no bouncing back from this. The Lord has seared these Edomites' minds to destroy themselves. So it's coming whether you want to accept it or not. So it will behoove you, especially if you're an Israelite, to come back to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You heard the scriptures. Call all yim la lahayinaw Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Hamashiach wa Malaki Bahashem Harawat Wakak Warash Barakathum Tawara Baba Bawa Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.